Hey guys! You might be a little bit crooked, but today in this video we're going to talk about birth control. So I made another video a while ago, it was about a year ago, maybe a little bit less, where I was talking about the birth control I was on, and I will link that down below in the description, but it's pretty out to date now because I actually stopped that birth control because I hated it. I'm gonna put that out there. I hated it. So I just wanted to make a video talking about why I hated it, why I stopped using it. So this is a video about why I stopped using Depo Provera. I thought it would be smart to separate this video into 3 separate categories. Category 1, important things to note. Category 2, symptoms on and off the birth control. And Category 3, things no one told me. So let's elaborate a little bit. Category 1 is basic facts that I need you to know. That way you have a little bit of an idea about what was going on while I was on the birth control. So I was on the birth control for a week shy of a full year. I got it in January, and then I went off of it December 20th, so about a week. The main reason why I started this birth control in the first place was because my doctor told me it was one of the few options I had that were safe to use while I was breastfeeding. And since I was breastfeeding, I kind of had, I'm pretty sure it was this option and then the pill, which I forget to take, so I didn't like that option, so I was like, hey, we'll just go with that one. And I was 130 pounds when I started the birth control, so that's important to note because I'm 164 pounds now, so I did gain quite a bit of weight on the birth control and I'm having a terrible time losing it, but that's a topic for another video. Category 2 is my symptoms on the birth control, and this is really what I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to emphasize in this video, because the symptoms that I experienced while I was on the birth control at first were fine. It was not a big deal. At first I had no periods, which was awesome, and when I got the birth control shot every 3 months, I would get a little bit irritable afterwards. And that was pretty much it. That was all the symptoms I had. But as I was on the birth control longer, my symptoms started to get super weird. I would have sudden mood swings even if I hadn't just gotten the injection. Even at any time I would just be like super upset all the time. And it was never like I could go from being tired to really happy. It was like I was happy or I was indifferent, and then suddenly I would be really upset and really mad. Generally, I was just mad all the time. And then my personality started to change. Things I loved before, I didn't care about anymore. Things that I thought were adorable before, I could care less about. Things that I enjoyed doing in my free time, who cares about that? I just didn't want to do anything. I had a loss of interest in everything. And when I say everything, I mean like I said, going out, spending time with my husband, spending time with my son. I mean, I was just like an empty shell, a void, and I did not want to do anything. I lost complete interest in every single aspect of my life, which was crazy. And I got really, really depressed, and the weird thing is that I didn't notice this was happening, and it took my husband a really long time to figure out why this was happening, because who would be like, of course, it's because of the birth control. So we had a lot of arguments and we were having a really hard time, and I was like, I don't know, this is just how I am. Sorry, I changed. My bad. And he was like, no, there's no way that you could change this drastically. Something is wrong. So we started to talk about what was going on and how I was feeling, and we kind of came to the conclusion that it was the birth control that I was on. So I was like, that kind of seems ridiculous. So then I researched it. And sure enough, this is something that a lot of people complain about, so I'm not alone. And I can confirm that it was the birth control because after I stopped it, I'm back to normal, but we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, we'll get to that right now. My symptoms off the birth control. So when I started the birth control, at first I didn't really have any symptoms. Like I kind of expected pain to be associated with it, like my body was going to go through withdrawals immediately. It didn't happen immediately, but it did happen like probably about a week or 2 later. My periods began again after only a month of being off. So they began in like the end of January, but I have 2 a month now. So I get like period, 2 weeks, period. And sorry, my dog wants to come in the bathroom. So that's really weird for me because Before I had Toby or was on birth control or anything, I had completely regular periods, nothing wrong with them. And then obviously I didn't have one when I was with Toby, and then on the birth control I didn't have any, so now I'm getting going from having not a single one for 2 full years to now I'm getting them every 2 weeks. It's kind of a lot to take in, and I'm not particularly concerned about it because there's not a lot of pain associated with it. There's not you know, anything really negative besides the obvious, you're on your period, that's going along with it. So I'm not too concerned about it. The only problem is that I can't track when I could potentially be ovulating because I'm having 2, so I don't know which one is like the real one, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to be making an appointment with my doctor to talk to her about it. My personality did return. It was almost immediate actually, like probably about 2 weeks later. I started to feel happier again, and I started to like want to hold hands with my husband again and sit on the couch and cuddle with him, and it was really an amazing thing because before it was like, I did not want to even hug you. Can you like not be in the same room with me? It was crazy. I have been very tired since stopping. I don't think it gave me any energy. I think it's just taking a toll on me and making me tired. And here's the weirdest symptom that I had. Stopping the birth control 100% mocked pregnancy symptoms. So everything that I felt when I was pregnant, nausea, tiredness, you know, all the first trimester stuff I felt, and I was like, there's no way I can be pregnant. So I actually tested for pregnancy 3 times because it mocked it so severely that I was like, there's no way that this can be anything else besides a pregnancy. I'm not pregnant. And I looked it up, and apparently this is something that a lot of people experience. They just experience pregnancy symptoms, which is super weird. It must be because your hormones are going back to normal and they're all messed up, and then when you get pregnant, your hormones are also all messed up. So it was really weird and confusing for me. And then the last symptom is something that I've only been experiencing within this past like month and a half. I have headaches, and I had headaches before, like when I was in high school. And I think the Depo Provera actually took the headaches away. So that was the only good thing besides not getting pregnant that came out of the birth control. They took my headaches away. So now that I'm not on it, I could pretty much guarantee by around 4 to 6 o'clock every single night, I will have a headache so bad that I will not want to move. So I also need to speak to my doctor about that. But those are the symptoms. So beforehand, I was so depressed. I was literally, I can't stress it enough. I was empty. I could sit in a chair and look at a blank wall for hours and not think about anything and not care about anything and just sit and just not care. So I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be smiling and happy and being interested in the things I love again. So it's really nice. The third category is something that is kind of upsetting for me. It's things no one told me. You would think that since I got the prescription for this from a doctor that they would have told me the side effects that come with it, but they didn't say anything. She did say, you might gain some weight, but I was like, meh, I don't care. Now I'm kind of caring about it, but that's besides the point. But here are some things that you'd think would be kind of important to tell someone right before they inject a chemical into their body for a year. First, Depo, and I'm reading this off of a notebook that I wrote down so that way I don't get any of the information wrong, and I got this information off of 2 separate websites, and those will be linked down in the description below so you can go read them as well. Depo Provera puts you at risk for a decrease of bone mineral density. Now I did read that shortly after I started, but I didn't really care. But I didn't realize how severe it was. They recommend that you do not stay on this birth control for any longer than 2 years because it can so severely take down your bone mineral density, which is crazy. Second, Depo Provera has been associated with an increased risk of breast cancer in women under 35. Hello, person who's under 35, me. That would have been nice to know because, you know, I would like to know what's going to put me at risk for certain types of cancers. But they didn't feel that was important to tell me. Third, Depo Provera is secreted into your breast milk. It is. So your baby who is getting the breast milk from you is getting this chemical in it. And that one really gets to me because she was like, it's completely safe while you're breastfeeding. And yeah, right now it's considered safe because we don't know what the effects it has on the babies are. We have no idea because it hasn't been out long enough for us to see the long-term effects. So I'm not particularly worried because Toby seems healthy and he seems active and he seems all there mentally and everything, but it's just like we don't know, you know what I mean? So that one kind of got to me. And the last thing is, it is suggested to take an antidepressant while you are on this birth control, and no one told me that, and obviously according to my symptoms, it would have been really nice to know that I was gonna probably get extremely depressed, and if I had been taking an antidepressant, it could have helped. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because then I would have never known the birth control was causing me so much issues, and I would have probably never gotten off of it. But getting off of the birth control was the best thing I have ever done. And I strongly encourage you, if you're going to be doing this birth control, that you talk to your doctor about it extensively. You ask her questions, you ask her what she knows as a physician about the long-term effects of this birth control, because the short-term effects are probably going to be slim to none, but the long-term, like a year and future on in your life, they could be pretty severe. Do your own research. I should have done that. I didn't research at all until after I left the doctor's appointment the first time, and even then I googled it on my phone real quick on the car ride home, saw a bunch of bad reviews, and was like, oh, everybody hates this birth control, and then that was all. I didn't research it until I started to get off of it. So please do your research on it, read reviews from other people, watch other YouTube videos, just do your research. But thank you for watching this video about birth control. This video was really important for me to get out there, because when I googled the Depo Provera thing, and there's not really very much information out on there from people who have actually taken it. So I wanted to make this video, let you know exactly what I went through, exactly how everything went when I got on it and off of it, because I couldn't find that information anywhere either. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you know someone who's thinking about getting Depo Provera, or they have already gotten it, or they're kind of iffy, send this video to them. Just let them give it a watch and know just a little bit more information about what they're going to be putting into their bodies. I put out videos every Monday and Friday, or at least I'm trying to, so don't forget to subscribe. Usually my videos are more related to mommy topics, but I've been kind of dipping my toes into a whole bunch of different types of things, so I don't really know what you guys will see next week, but I will see you on Monday. Bye guys!